Welcome back. Now, it's been a while since I have last spoken to you. I'm underneath the onion. It's nearly Halloween, hence the Blair Witch style light. Actually, it's just particularly dark in here. Now, I've been working away on the car in dribs and drabs, not done a huge amount in truth, but we are now pretty much all completely stripped under here, with the exception of the handbrake cable, which for the life of me, I can't remember how to remove, so I'm going to have to look that up and then pull that out. Otherwise, it's ready to be cleaned and then under sealed again. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I've been up to. So it is, as I say, pretty dark under here, but you can see the underside of the car. There's the spare wheel well and the spring cups, wheel arches. Wheel arch all still looking pretty good. Chassis rails all still tight, solid. Very solid, no problems there. This car has completely been saved from having been undersealed from new. That's just the tank pad, anti-rattle pad that's fallen down, so I shall re-stick that back up again. You can see the back of the floor pans and those pesky cables, which I need to remove. There's a fuel pump wiring, which I need to just test because the fuel pump's got a bit lazy and I'm not sure if it's the pump or otherwise is an issue with the wiring. There we go, so you can see the exhaust hanger and bits and pieces there. Seals are all pretty good, no problem. They've not been welded. And it's pretty good all round in here. There are bits all over the floor. Now these things might look like they're everywhere, but in reality they are laid out in a way that I kind of know where they go. Most of the bolts and bits and pieces are being replaced. Brake pipes just down here, which you can probably just about see. I'm just left under the car so them from getting bent. I've actually just removed those. Car's looking pretty grubby and dirty and dusty in here now, so you can probably see. I'm actually in the process of just refurbing the garage a bit, so I'm going to be replacing the door with a roller door, insulated door, make it a bit nicer to work in here, and replace the roof after a leak a couple of years ago. This, as you remember, is pretty crusty under here. So this is going to be changed. I've got loads of little brake clips and things. I think I'll be changing these brake pipes as well because they just look a bit manky, to be honest. The brake pipes themselves, sorry, are being replaced by braided, but these sort of copper pipes, or whatever they are, the green ones, I'm hoping to make up again in green. Underneath the car, the exhaust is off and detached. You can see more of the floor pans, and you can see where the oil leak that I had has basically taken off the wax oil. So I want to get that replaced sooner rather than later. So the gear linkage is all in pretty good shape. It'll probably clean up quite nicely. If and when I remove it, gearbox, cradle, etc., it's all going to come off and be powder coated as well. Under the bonnet, as you remember, there's a lot of work there to do. Still lots to be done. I'm going to take these pipes off shortly so I can basically replace them, hopefully, or clean them up at least. Battery's been taken off for the time being. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the moment. I'm looking forward to having a little bit more warmth in the garage for winter. So that I'm able to work out here and perhaps enjoy working out a bit more. As if you've ever worked in a single garage, then you'll know things get a bit tight. And thankfully, this is quite a good width. This garage is a narrow car. It's about 4.5 foot wide, and it's about 9.5 foot garage, I think. So back door actually swings open completely wide. Front door opens most of the way when it's parked in this sort of position. It's not actually tight over. There's a reasonable amount of space on the other side, as you can probably just about see. I shall shuffle around and try not to fall over everything on the way through. Here we go. So, black bag full of mats and bits and pieces. Actually, some more tools and such been littered around from this little session working on the car, and a few bits and pieces that have got to go in the bin or will be given away. The aforementioned bucket of things that needs to be refurbished, suspension and like, and still some more work to do. I've had some questions as well about the signs and things that are behind me. That bit of bumper up there came off of Tom Chilton's BCC car some years ago. I used to do some bits and pieces for Arena Motorsport, which were based down in Littlehampton. And I'd wanted to have a bumper or a door or a bonnet or something, but quite often they're auctioned off for charity. And so I think it was Brands Hatch that he stacked it, Tom. And I had a call from Merrick. He said, Michael got something dirty and broken, and I thought of you. And there it was the front of the bumper there. So that smashed into a barrier. It's one of the bits they collected, and they were kind enough to save it for me. The big Ford oval, yes, is a dealership oval. They are pretty massive. They don't look very big on the side of a building. This one came from somewhere down, I think it was Western Supermare or something similar. And the same goes for, if you can see just behind me, there is an Orion sign on the wall there that lights up. And on the other side is a Castrol sign, which came from the local dealer. Found it behind the back of one of the filing cabinets when I worked there, and it was going for scrap, so I decided it'd be worth sticking up on the wall of the garage. And who doesn't need that kind of thing in a man cave? So those are all original bits and pieces. They aren't repro signs. There are a few other those sort of Ford part signs and stuff that are kicking around on the ceiling. Some mini signs and bits and pieces as well. And I don't even remember where that came from, but I'll rescue that when the garage door comes out. So for the moment, that is me. There's not a lot more to report. Hopefully I'll be able to get the bits out of the way from under the car, put them somewhere, probably in the garden, because, well, why not? Carving bits, as we've said before, takes up the space of about 7 cars. It just goes everywhere. My plan at the moment is to refurbish the underside, get the brakes set up all on there and all working, get the wheels on, which are now shod in their new tyres, Toyo TR1 Proxys, as opposed to the T1Rs, which I had on the car before. Slightly different tread pattern, but work quite well on the track car, so I should imagine they'll work pretty well on this. And yeah, I shall look forward to getting it on the deck, moving out the way so we can get the work done on the garage. Then it'll be back in, I think, for an engine pull out, tear down, and then we're going to have a look and see what we can do with the management. Now, I guess one update I've been speaking to, Ignition Advantages, they have a great little ECU, which the chap down there is able to set up for me, set the car up, stick it on the dyno and get it all sorted. So I guess 2 litre Z-Tech is how it's staying, at least for the moment, unless something incredible turns up. Otherwise, I want to stick in there instead. And that is it. This is will be a brief update, but an update nevertheless. Hopefully I'll have some more for you once I've had the car undersealed. Right, so we have now stripped back everything underneath here and cleaned it up as best as possible. So it'll be time to put the first coat on this bit shortly. What I'm doing is just working my way around, removing as much stuff as possible. So there's a big green box there to move, as much stuff as I can out of the way. See all the bolts and such all shifted from here, and it's nice and dirty. I've been cleaning everything down. And you can see some more bolts and bits over there, but I should shift those out of the way at the moment, and then hopefully we'll get cracking on the wax oiling. So a bit more cleaning under here. Now, different people say different things about underseal. This car was undersealed from new. I can't remember the name of the brand. I'm sure it'll come back to me. There was a sticker on the window, maybe True Seal or something. But it was like this from new. And as you can see, it's lasted pretty well. And I did this about 10 years ago. And obviously a bit of work's been done, bodywork and bits and pieces since. But as you can see, after a quick scrub up and brush down, I've been brushing down with a mixture of brass wire brushes and just a normal sort of stiff dustpan type brush. It's coming out pretty well. So a bit more work to be doing down under here, and then yep, I shall brush them on. Okay, so a bit more work been done, a bit more scrubbing up been done. The floor, you'll notice, is covered in old cardboard boxes now. I just need to sweep up some of the debris before I start wax oiling, because there's bits and pieces of dust and dirt, like you can see over here, that have fallen down. But it makes a horrible mess of your floor, basically, this stuff, and your face and everything else. So gloves, overalls, very flattering boiler suit, and of course, most importantly, a pair of glasses or goggles. And goggles are definitely better than glasses, but I just don't get on with them, unfortunately. So here we are, pair of wraparound glasses, because honestly it's no fun getting that in your eyes. Right, time to crack on. So first coat is now on, as you can probably see. So relatively happy with the finish, despite it being brushed on. Now I'm sure a lot of you say, why didn't I spray it? Because you get a bit of finish. This is true, but it also goes absolutely everywhere. You might be able to just see the state of my floor down there, or the cardboard which I used to cover it up. It was already undercoated. I've been undercoated several times, so once with me, and before in its life as well, it was undercoated from new. And yeah, there we go. So now it is all currently black. So I'll have another pop at that, another coat over it, just to make sure that everything's fully covered, because there are a couple of little bits where I can just see a bit of red peeking through, just to make sure there is as much covered as I can get. And then what I will do is I will use a spray gun, but just with the little extension lance, just to get into all the cavities in the chassis, just to make sure that is well protected for the next however many years. Bearing in mind she's like 31 years old now, so there we are. And yes, in case you're wondering, I have ended up with an absolute load of this stuff everywhere, in my face, in my hair. So that's it for me for now. Next modifications may well be to the garage itself. We're going to go for an insulated roller door to make it a bit nicer to work out here in the winter, and a new roof as well. I have managed to pull the exhaust off, pop it outside. Well, I pulled the exhaust off before, but I managed to pop it outside, keep it out of the way. So the exhaust is tucked down here, just out of the way for the moment. I've got this temporary fence up just because I'm in the process of redoing the garden, because why not do everything at once. And you can see the brake pipes here, which are green, actually in pretty good shape, but someone I know through work has got some black pipe and is going to make up some fresh ones for me potentially, so it should look pretty smart underneath there as well.